So I'm Dominic Kuza. I'm the coach for Team Cuza. I'm 5'6", 174 pounds right now. I'm just in a nice growing period right now. No pre-contest or anything. So we're here at Powerhouse out in Fenton with Jeff. I had a pleasure to shoot with him today.
Go ahead and then I'll have you take us through your workout and the movements and what you like about these movements.
So I started competing in 2017. I competed at the Grand Rapids Championships out there. I took second in Open Class A Classic Physique. Last year I competed at the Nicole Wilkins. I took third in the Open for Classic Physique as well. I've only competed twice so far. And then as far as the workout today, we actually went through what I like to call a density day. It's really focused on the posterior chain, back, hamstrings, and glutes. I started today with a seated leg curl just to kind of warm up and activate the hamstrings. Then I went on to a stiff leg deadlift to where I acclimated up to a top set where I failed at 3. I tried to fail between 3 and 5, and then a back down set where I tried to fail between 10 and 12. After the stiff leg deadlift, I went on to a chest supported T-bar row. Same kind of concept, build to a heavy 8, and then a back down set of where I'd fail around 10 to 12. After the T-bar, I moved on to a supinated grip lat pull down. And again, this is a very rep scheme I like to do, is building to a heavy 8 to 10 reps where I fail, and then the consecutive set after that is a back down set. So after the supinated lat pull down, I went on to the hack squat. And in the video, you'll see me add a foam roller behind my back. So what I feel it does for me is takes away from a lot of knee flexion and not so much pressure in my lower back because the weight is sitting up against my back with the foam roller instead of on top of my shoulders. So I find that to be really comfortable. And if you ever have low back pain and knee pain when hack squatting, that's a great thing that you could add. So built down to a heavy top set and then followed it up with a back down. After the hack squat, we went on to a lying leg curl. I did these one leg at a time. And then to finish, we did adductors, heavy to fail set of 8. And that was the workout today.
With all your movements, I noticed for the workout too, you're very controlled.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
Not shoving, you're like pushing, you're trying.
No, I like to really engage everything, so then I know everything's working. Yeah. That's why most of the time, if you saw today, it's really just like 2 top sets. Because of how much I'm focusing, I'm kind of gassed by the end of that.
Yeah. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about, I work with a lot of athletes here in Michigan, and word is getting out about you, and I've heard only excellent things from a lot of clients I've worked with. Go ahead and give people a little bit of a philosophy on how your training works and how can you set yourself up, I guess, a little differently than some of the other diet coaches out there and stuff.
So we can start with my education background. I was pre-dental, so my bachelor's degree is in biology. I have a minor in chemistry and a minor in physiology. I decided not to do the dental route, and I registered for my master's in exercise physiology. I wrote my thesis on muscle protein synthesis and amino acid metabolism, with the bulk of my paper being focused on intra-workout nutrition. You'll see in the video that I'm drinking a drink most of the time throughout the workout, and that was a bulk of my thesis, which I'll touch on later. As far as my philosophy, diet coaching is very simple. A lot of people overcomplicate things thinking there's a secret, but there really isn't. My approach, I like to focus more of the carbohydrates around the workout. Like peri-workout nutrition is my main focus. I like to start the days with just protein and fats. Studies show that the fats help with cognitive function as you're going through your day. You don't have as big as a crash later on. I like to focus on the performance of the athlete more so than just giving them a diet. So, as we're dieting down, I take food away furthest from the training window as at first always, so that performance is never altered as because we're going to get to the point where we need to alter it, but I rather have that towards the very end than right off the beginning.
Yeah. Okay, and go ahead and tell us a little bit about your thesis. I didn't hear about that when we were off camera.
So Part of my master's program was writing a review of literature on a topic of our choice. So I picked amino acid metabolism and muscle protein synthesis to kind of touch on base how amino acids are metabolized and used, not just in fitness, but in general. But a bulk of my thing was on how we can use amino acids and other supplements to increase and enhance that synthesis so we are building more muscle. So conclusively, we found that in the literature, consuming essential amino acids during a workout in combination with a higher, like a dextrose, a simple sugar, causes the highest amount of fractional synthesis rate at the end of a workout, which takes place a few hours after a workout. It's not immediate, but since we have that in the blood ahead of time, we have a higher chance of feeding the muscle what it needs to build more tissue. And a lot of that reason comes from the combination with carbohydrates, because we get an insulin response, and the insulin response causes it causes a higher absorptive rate of the amino acids. So it kind of opens up more doors for those amino acids to get into the muscle tissue.
Oh, okay. Wow, man, that's interesting. So definitely the best time would be during a workout.
Yeah, so it's like preloading. It's like preloading your blood for recovery ahead of time. So you're drinking all this during the workout, so that when you're done, your blood has everything it needs to start recovery. And most studies show that recovery starts about that 90-minute window, not more so immediately like people think it does. Your body still has to come down from that stimulus of exercise to start the recovery process. So I like to call it never train with empty blood. Fill the blood up with all the things it needs ahead of time, so that when you're ready to start recovery, you have everything you need.
And your body has everything it needs to repair.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Do you have certain views on training, bud? Like certain weight styles you like to use for even just personally yourself?
I think it varies between person to person. Some people respond really well to high volume, and some people are low volume. I found that my body responded the best to kind of the training style we do, where it's lower volume, to where it's just really like top 2 sets, to where I focus really hard on it, I fail completely at it, and I can move on to the next thing. I feel like that, for me personally, showed the best building of tissue for myself. And I recently just changed to that this past year, and I've noticed big progression in muscle from just then.
Okay, very cool. As for with like dieting, just basic ideas, like with your clients, obviously you're not like a keto person then with your people, or are you?
No, so I actually I've done keto with some of my clients, and so I use my one client, Christian. He's out in New Jersey, and he came to me looking to prep for a show, and I asked him about past history. And the last time he competed, he did keto, and looking at his pictures last time, he looked really good.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, let's run with it. So we did keto, and I do a true keto. When I do keto, it's like 85% of the calories are coming from fat, 15% are coming from protein, and absolutely no carbs.
Yeah.
And we did that for a while, and you just got to know when to add carbs into the mix. And so
It's funny you say that, because some people think keto and they do. I had friends and they'd be like, oh, they'd have like Gatorade for a pre-workout or something. And
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't count. I'm like, no, that's not true keto.
yeah, so I like to do keto like that, which was like another thing. That's something I picked up from Porter.
Yeah.
And that's how he liked to do keto, was a true keto like that. So it's worked in the past with clients, and I'm very open to trying things with clients. If they know how their body responded to something, by all means, let's try it. I don't have a single protocol for every single client. I like to see what everybody is really good at.
Which is good, because otherwise it's more like a cookie cutter program.
Yeah, and you'll never get that with me.
Yeah.
I make every single one from scratch, so.
Yeah. No, and because what works for one person is not
going to work for the next.
Yeah.
Like, even for myself, for example, like, I respond really well to high carbohydrate diets, and my client Steven Tran doesn't. So you can't have the same ideology for every single person because it's not going to work.
Yeah. How long have you been coaching now, bud?
So I've been helping people get ready for competitions for the past 3 years. I've been helping with nutrition for probably the past 5.
Okay.
I didn't cross into the competing realm until I felt confident enough in myself. I didn't want to let somebody trust me if I didn't trust myself at that point. So Steven was the first person I coached, Steven Tran.
Oh, okay.
And we did pretty well. We took 3rd at a IFBB international show.
He looks crazy at his show.
Yeah, and he looked really good. So yeah, it's been about 5 years with helping people with nutrition and about 3 on the competitive side.
And then it's not like in the past then, like you said, 5 years, these weren't competitors.
No, they were just regular people. Yep.
Who, help get into like better shape or
Yeah,
lose weight and things
just
like that.
lose weight and get better shape.
Do you still work with like average?
Yeah,
kind
so my coaching is not just for competitors. I coach probably a good handful of just lifestyle people too.
Yeah.
Which is nice because I can help them and I help people get off of medication because of weight loss, and so it's a really satisfying job.
Yeah, and you don't have to be and there's nothing wrong with it, but a hardcore athlete or somebody can be anyone.
Yeah.
You can still help or benefit from your health and everything. People you'd like to thank, bud? Family members or fiancés?
I like to thank my family down at Powerhouse Gym in Troy. They've been helping me out and supporting me and giving me a place to work out of. But my fiance Dina, she's always been a good support of the whole thing. She was with me from the beginning when I was pre-dental, and then I decided not to do it. And then she looked at me and goes, "I've been waiting for you to tell me you didn't want to do it." So it was kind of up in the air always. My friends like Steven and Christian, and I got a good group of guys that are really behind me, and it feels good to be supported like that.
Yeah, well, like I said, your name, bud, I wish you all the best. It's all over Michigan. Like I said, people I've worked with, that's like, I'm like, I have to meet him finally. And Steven had always just talked very highly of you.
Yeah.
And we don't have too many coaches in Michigan, so it's nice to have some very
it's
educated, good, solid coaches for people.
Yeah, and like as a coach, I don't look to compete with other coaches. I'm not like that. I want everybody to do the best, even if I'm not coaching the person. Like, good job. You won. Like, I'm happy for you. I genuinely am.
Yeah.
Because I was a competitor with no coach, and it felt good getting recognition from a different person just because they didn't coach me, but they still congratulated me. So it feels good, and I want everybody to do well. And I'm always open to answering any questions anybody has, and I help people with other coaches. Like, if they have just a simple question, like, I have no problem doing that.
I had heard Matt Porter did that a lot with people too.
Yeah,
Every
he did.
once in a while, people would call him up, or other coaches would call him up.
We'll call him up, and he'd answer a question. And like I was talking to you earlier, like, Porter used to answer my questions, and I really appreciated that because he was a really popular coach and a really well-known coach.
Knowledgeable guy. Yeah.
And really knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, very interesting, very cool.
So I feel like I want to pay that back to other people.
Well, it's very nice, because not everyone's like that. So it's nice to have someone who's humble and very down to earth with it and stuff. Some people are very cutthroat, and you're my client. I want you to do well. Screw the world.
Yeah.
Kind of. So
But
I like your attitude with
thank
it.
you. Thank you.
That you want everyone to do well, and obviously your clients do well, but everyone in general. Help as many people as you can. If people are trying to get in touch with you besides the standard like Instagram and Facebook, bud, what's the best way for people to try and reach your information?
So I have my website is just teamkuza, Kuza.com.
Okay.
And there's a contact section there where you can just fill something out, click submit, and it comes right to my email. My email too is just teamkuza, Kuza1@gmail.
Okay. And I'll put the links to your website in the actual video description so people will see it on the bottom. Now, you were saying besides like coaching, you do have a different section in your website?
Oh yeah, so my website now has a educational section where I break down like research papers, and I'll touch base on like my thesis and other people's work, kind of explaining scientific things to a more simple level to where everybody can kind of understand it and grasp on it. There's also a forum on there where you can ask questions in certain subjects where you could post a question and I could jump on there and answer it for you. So that's part of my website too. It's under the educational content section.
Okay. Yeah, personally, but I think it's interesting from the scientific perspective. of being, and what I've heard a lot of people, what they're liking about you is that you're totally willing to explain why something or why you want to do something this way.
Yeah.
And some coaches aren't like that. Some physical therapists aren't like that.
Well, I got into this for my love of science.
Yeah.
You know, I love bodybuilding. I love competing. But I love science.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to explain things so that you can understand it, because I could say do something and be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, what did you learn from that? You didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, my goal most of the time is, if you're a client of mine, and let's say a non-competitive client, right? You're somebody that just wants to lose weight. I want to teach you to the point where you know how to do it on your own. Where a year down the road, you don't have to come back to me.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people would think is crazy. Like, that takes away from my pocket. But to me, knowledge is worth more.
Yeah.
I'd rather spread more knowledge than anything.
That's an awesome attitude to have. And, you know, some coaches take a more scientific view and some are more, you know, I guess just experience and, I don't want to say bro science, but more of just what they've done and what's worked
Yeah.
for them kind of thing. You know, you remind me more like Justin Harris, who's a good friend of mine. He's very scientific based too, and he wants, if he's going to do something, he wants a reason behind it,
Yeah.
or can say why. And I think that's good. And that you're willing to explain it, as opposed to a lot of people who will not, because I said so. You know, I've
Yeah.
heard coaches say that. It's like, well, okay, but if you want to know, there shouldn't be a problem with that. And if you know why, you shouldn't have a problem explaining it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. So, well, thanks very much. It was great meeting you, Bud, and maybe we'll follow up again with you later in the fall.
Oh, thank you, man.
But you are getting married. Congratulations, also.
Thanks.
I hope that goes well.
Yeah.
And we'll catch up with you later this year, man. Do another one. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Sounds good. Thank you.